Motion to reconvene.
So moved.
Thank you. All in favor? All right, so we're going to start
Words are getting
to
short.
look at, we're going to move to 7C. Councillor Barnes, you need to talk to 7C for me.
Yeah.
So we'll do yours after.
No problem. Okay, so as we were in our Parks and Rec meeting, we discussed what to do with the skateboard park. And the discussion was to take and make a basketball court down there that would be enclosed, and it would. They were talking budget of about $25,000 to build this. They're talking about making it accessible through the swimming pool. I'm not quite sure exactly how that works yet, but Randy Russell said that it could work, and he's going to bring us a better, more detailed idea of how that they will kind of monitor who's in and out of there and how they're going to do it. And then we talked to him about, well, what about in the off-season when the pool's closed? And there again, they're talking about some kind of a system, that another door that could be used to go into the fenced-off area so that we can monitor that. The whole idea is
like
to...
a key card kind of a thing?
Yeah, yeah. And so it's to maintain a good quality place for people to gather, that's monitored and taken, you know, I mean, lots of towns, lots of communities have a basketball court for people to use, and they're a great thing. And there's a lot of kids that like to do that can't always have access to the high school or the school to get at it. So this was, I thought, I really liked the idea, and the Parks and Rec liked the idea. They were enthusiastic about it, and so they passed a motion to approve it, and to approve to bring it to council for our consideration and approval. Now the budget doesn't necessarily know it. We don't have that money this year.
No.
We're talking about next year.
2017, yes. Councillor Bengry.
I'm opposed to the idea, and I'll tell you why. We're going to put a big addition onto our building. We're taking away from green space, you know, from a lawn area. I'm saying instead of a basketball court, turn that into a grassed area, put a couple of picnic tables up there and some playground equipment so that you can go in there as a family. You get tired of the water slides, you get tired of the swimming pool, you go down and you have a little picnic, you got a grassed area where you can lay and soak in the sun and so forth. We're really restricting our grassed area with the addition of the new pool facilities. And I would like to see more grass where you can lay on the grass, soak in the sun, and enjoy listening to the kids. A basketball court, you know, sure it's enclosed, but there's always those basketballs that are coming over the fence and into the area. To me, I would like to see more of a lawn setting.
Okay,
that's my own feeling.
So before I ask you to carry on with the conversation, can I get a little bit of clarification? Is this basketball court to sit where the skateboard park was?
Yeah.
So it's on that end.
Yes.
So the picnic area that we have is already on the lawn around the pool. We already have some area there.
Right now.
But it will stay
It's
there.
not taking away any of
It
that.
will not take any of that.
I think the
what we're
reception area
talking-
cuts into that a little bit.
No, it cuts into
No.
the west end part, which isn't being used anyways. It's not fenced in there. That's just a public area there.
Yeah.
That's where that's
Yeah.
going to
So
come.
I just
So it's not
wanted
going to
to-
take in that fenced in area where where the families can lay out on the
There's not
towel.
enough, there's not
Yeah.
enough area there as far as
Okay.
I'm concerned right now.
So I just wanted to understand, to make sure
Yeah.
where we were putting it. Comments?
Well, yeah, that's, you asked the question that I was going to ask, so that area is already paved, right? I mean, it was.
Yeah, it's
So they're going to put another surface on it, so
Yeah, well,
that's
it'd have
a better surface to enhance the surface that's
But
there.
it's not grassland.
It's
No,
not.
it's not gonna be
I mean,
grass.
It's already
grass.
not
It's not
grass
grass
Yeah,
at this
now.
point.
That's right.
Yeah.
It's basically, it's
Yeah.
already a hard surfaced
Yeah,
Yeah,
court.
yeah, and they'll put another surface
Or used
on
to be a
there.
tennis court.
Pardon? Yeah, it used to be a tennis court.
It used to be a tennis court, yeah.
Okay.
Tennis court, there's-
Councillor Barfuss?
I actually really like this idea from the perspective of, we are constantly hearing from people in our community about something more for the kids to
Yeah,
do.
yeah.
That's not necessarily requiring adult supervision to be there. Playing basketball really fits into that. We don't have any outdoor basketball
Right,
courts
Okay.
anywhere in the town.
yeah.
I think this makes a lot of sense.
Councillor Edmonds, do you want to?
I think it sounds good.
Okay. Can you allow me a question for Councillor Barnes?
Well, let me respond to Councillor
Okay,
Barfuss.
go ahead.
No,
About a year ago or 2 years ago, I proposed that we look at each one of these playgrounds that we have set apart and put a cement pad in there so the
Into the
kids can go
basketballs.
into that, get the basketball hoops off the street and play basketball in there, and they're all over this town.
Okay, all right, so there is a proposal there from Parks and Rec that took time to think. I have some questions. For me, what disturbs me is not the idea of the basketball. If we can use this area without making too many changes, I can see a benefit from the perspective of the kids. But where I have problem is the restriction that is given by the way you want to enter that basketball court, which means that it is only accessible to those who are coming to the swimming pool and not to the kids in general, or to adults in general. And that has me a little bit disturbed
No,
because
that's-
I
the
don't
way,
think that's not the intention I read.
well, that's the way it's written though.
No, it says access through. It doesn't mean
Access
you're coming there to go
through.
swimming, because you're coming to play basketball, but you go
Yeah,
through the
it's not
swimming
gonna,
pool so
you
you
don't
can
have
control
to
access.
pay.
It's not about,
There's
not
no
about-
charging for it.
But why do you need to have it fenced?
have you seen what happens down there if you don't?
No, at
Well,
this
take a
point,
look at what
this
happened.
We
is-
have a
Take a look what
form,
happened with the skateboard park.
yeah,
That's the reason
they're
why.
trying to
that's-
eliminate that problem. We have a former police officer on our board, and we took a lot of counsel from him in this
so
design.
that was
That
the
was security purpose.
recommendation?
The whole thing was.
Security,
security.
okay, all right.
Yeah.
So, no, it's fair enough. I'm just trying to understand
Mhm.
from a design perspective. When I read that it was, you had to go through the swimming pool facility in order to enter that. I was thinking, how do you understand that
The access
story?
still has to be worked out. Doesn't mean that they're gonna walk around the pool deck and all that. They're going to, Randy's going to figure all that out, and it's going to be laid out so that we have a better idea. This is just a preliminary. We've got it, okay?
All right.
We just want to get the council on board, if they think it's something that we like to approve and work on. Then those details will be worked out so that it's not going to be restrictive.
Yeah, because, I mean, when you look at the cost of fixing that,
Yeah.
is $200 and some odd thousand dollars?
No, 25,000. 25,000.
25, okay, all right. that was-
We'll put a roof over it if you want to have 25,000. Yeah, that'd be great. We'll build 3 of them.
Councillor Barfuss,
While we're at it.
Councillor
While we're at it, we'll put some
Sorry,
sections
that's
down.
wrong.
Yeah, just
Yes,
to clarify, what I think I heard you say, Dennis, is basically, you know, the access doesn't have to be through the pool, but the idea is just to have controlled access.
Yes,
so
that's basically it.
So that
Yeah.
so there's some control on it.
Yeah.
And,
so the fence is for security?
Yep,
How high a fence are we
well,
looking
it'd
at?
probably be 10 to 12 feet.
So we're looking at a fairly high
You
fence?
take a look at the inner cities in
It's gotta be high.
inner cities throughout North America, they all have very high fences.
Right, like tennis
And they're
court
controlled,
kind of
they're
thing.
controlled, and they don't seem to have too many issues.
Okay, so fair enough. I need to have a motion very soon.
I appreciate this proposal from our recreation committee, and I appreciate what they're trying to do there. I find it interesting that it does mention the involvement of the Rotary Club on this, and the Rotary's willingness to maybe put forward a CFEP grant to help this go. And I just get the general impression that we as a council are, which is great, that's what we do as these proposals come to us, we're making decisions just a little bit reactionary based on what comes our way, and that's fine. But I'm wondering, when I hear a proposal like the one from Dave earlier, and you know, how it ties into some of our other initiatives such as the Chautauqua, et cetera, and I'm thinking, wow, you know, if people are willing to pour some resources into this basketball court, and I love the idea, I'm like Councillor Bengry, I'd love to see one in every, you know, every little tot lot. But I'm also wondering if maybe as a council, if we don't really just start to kind of focus our, you know, the direction we want to go, and if we're going to do something like this, or if the Rotary comes to us and says, hey, what can we throw 25,000 into? I'd love to say, well, I'm not saying this specific thing, but if that's what we decide, we say, you know what, that money would be better spent for the town, for the community on this initiative, where we're creating a destination for our town that puts us on the map so people provincially from all over can come and benefit from these. I would almost say, you know, hey, that basketball, although it's a perfect place for it, I'd almost want to see it down here as, you know, phase one of our 10-year plan in this Pioneer Village idea. And I'm just thinking, you know, rather than just be reactionary and going with whatever proposals come, if we really start to lock in and say, hey, what is our vision as a council for what we want? And how does this fit what we want? And if it's something like this comes up, we say, you know, that doesn't really fit what we have, but here's a suggestion that might. And then all of a sudden now we have, you know, all of that, I hate to say energy, but all of that energy now focused and going into the same project that benefits the long-term economic development of the town. So again, I have no problems with this. I love this, everything about this. But I am thinking, gee, I mean, Dave just talked about extending these walking trails, and if the Rotary's going to put money into something, I would hate to see the Rotary divided. I'd rather go back to the Rotary and say, you know what? Yes, a basketball court would be nice here. Yes, so would a walking trail. But you know what, you guys, just get this thing done. Like, you know, as Gordon recommended earlier, put a little more planning into the one thing, and we as a council feel, I mean, if we do, we feel that this would be a better project in the next 10 years to focus on.
Okay.
So that's my feeling on that.
What you're talking really is recreation planning for the future, for the town. Really, that's what you're talking about.
And sticking to a vision.
And maybe there is merit to design a little bit of a vision for the long term. We're not talking tons of money at this point, and I think with a lot of in-kind work from the town, it probably would cost us less than that. But there is merit in many things. There's merit in trying to upgrade our little tot lots. There's merit in having something like this. There's always merit in improving anything that would help kids to stay fit, and adults.
I think the key point there is for example, from my perspective, if it came down to a decision, were we going to put money into doing this basketball court, or we were going to expand the trail system, I'd vote to expand the trail system, not to do the basketball court. I think that has more of an impact for more of our community. But that's not the choice that's before us here right now. We need to, I like the idea of having a recreation master plan.
Yeah.
What are we trying to accomplish? What do we want to see developed that way? So that we are making decisions within that framework. I think that'd be valuable.
Jeff, maybe you can help us a little bit. We have a Parks and Rec, but that might be a project a little too much for them. To try to, we were discussing, Councillor Peavoy was saying, maybe what we need is a more encompassing vision of what we would like to see for recreation in our town and what it would look like in the next 10 years, for example. And how do we go about to create that, to work towards that vision? I don't know that Parks and Recs meeting once every 3 months is going to be able to do that. So what is your suggestion from an administration point of view? Don't you love it?
Not that we want to put you on the spot or anything, but here's that spot there.
But does it mean maybe that you try to get a community group that takes that on and try to create that vision, and so that we can figure out, I don't know.
I think the Parks and Rec Committee can play a key role in something like that. I don't expect them to create it from scratch, but administratively it's created, and then there are points that goes to the committee for that citizen engagement feedback, right? That's how it would work. I think we have a good cross-section of people on that committee that can play the role. What we don't have is the groundwork to engage them in that planning yet. So that needs to happen, and I think they'd be a great sounding board for all that stuff and guiding the group.
So, go ahead, Councillor Bengry.
Mayor, I just want to talk more about green space, and that swimming pool. I was down there parked on that swimming pool without the water slides. And there was kids all over that lawn. There was not room for any more people to move out on the grass area and just enjoy it.
You're talking the north end of the pool there?
Yeah. Now, if you develop that park area, if you go to Lethbridge and go to Henderson Lake, look at the grassed area around that big pool that they're building right now. Look at Westminster outdoor pool, huge grassed area, and it's full all the time. Anything that the city of Lethbridge builds as far as recreation has a certain amount of grassed area.
Raymond's Pool.
And Raymond's Pool's got grassed area. You go down to Utah, every water slide, every swimming pool has big space for just laying down on a towel and lounging and enjoying the sun. And I think we need to have that space down in this swimming pool. We're now going to initiate a water slide. That pool's going to be busier than heck. Where are all these kids going to be if they're not in the pool? Where are they going to gather?
Might I suggest then that, because there's no sense in any of us going down there and looking at that right now.
That's
Until
right.
the pool's open, you're not gonna see anything.
Well, I know, last year, even without the slides, we had capacity issues throughout the summer.
We did.
Exactly.
And
We did.
that's based
But
on number of bodies
I was down
in the
there
water.
a number of times
So that
when
didn't
there were
grow.
capacity down there, and I wasn't looking for that, but I didn't see a big problem with the grass area either. So it might be really valuable for us to be able to take a look at that before we start making a plan on what we want to do with that area. And so maybe this might be a little
Too
sooner.
quick.
And there's no time constraints on this.
Well, they're
because
just saying if they want to do it, then
we
we want to.
wouldn't start doing it until next year anyways.
Anyway.
Right.
The basketball court is a wonderful idea.
Yes.
You know, don't get me wrong, but I think a swimming pool needs to have a large grassed area.
If I might comment, go back to what Councillor Bengry was talking about, these little basketball courts on the top lots and on the playgrounds. I think that's a fabulous idea. If we had that type of thing,
Okay.
you would eliminate the
But
need
those
for
you wouldn't
this.
you wouldn't do those for 25,000.
No.
Oh, no.
That's, I
But
agree,
you see, if
those
the
are
rec board,
fantastic, but you're
if the rec
talking,
board looked at that, and because every one of our top lots have got room for
Yeah.
a cement pad.
I mean, I can take it back to the rec board if you want me to, I'm glad to do that. But I think for now that maybe we should look at that, because, you know, as you were talking about it, I had a vision in my mind of people out there on a nice grassed area laying around and visiting and maybe picnicking out there or whatever, because we used to do it at Medicine Hat at the water slide when it was there. It was neat, they don't have it there anymore. It's
Okay.
gone.
All right,
Jason Walker.
so I think at this
But
time,
yeah, maybe we need to look at it.
okay, maybe at this time, we would ask you to kind of bring back to your committee the concern we have regarding the short amount of green space around the swimming pool and see what they are willing to entertain at that point. Green pool or a cement pad.
I agree with Councillor Barfuss. I think it's something we need to take a look at. And but I think, not having looked at it right now, but you know, if we do look at it, I really think there's probably room for both if we look at it carefully and find.
Yeah, there may be.
So maybe what you want to bring back to them, that we're not opposed to the concept, but we want to protect as much green area as possible, or even increase
Reclaim.
the amount of green space for those using the swimming pool for picnic afterwards, or whatever.
Well, the swimming pool is going to be a family situation, you know. You got a lot of families down there watching their kids and taking their kids there.
I mean, there is no problem for trying to take a second look, and thank you for bringing that concern up. It's always good to have divergent opinion.
Well, and Mayor, on this subject, because it includes the idea of some Rotary grant application funding and attention, and again, I'll just use the word energy going towards a project. Dave mentioned something earlier that he wanted to move forward on, perhaps looking at getting us $9,000 for some trails. And you know, I'm just thinking in the spirit of recreation, you know, if all he needs from us is permission to go get money to enhance our trails, like, does he need a motion, maybe a question about that?
Councillor,
Is that something that we can do
Peavoy,
today?
if you look at it, it's on a 7E.
Right, so.
Can you give us a chance to
Right,
get
well,
there?
Get there.
what we're doing on 7E might, you know, if we're discounting this because, oh, we're gonna do other things on 7E, so.
I think maybe where we're at on this is take it back to the committee. Let's have some more discussion about it.
Yeah.
And come up with maybe some other
See,
alternatives. that
we've
might-
got our next meeting.
Try something.
Yeah.
Or I guess maybe just look at some overall designs
under my
you know, so some,
Yeah. Maybe try
Yeah,
to see if you can satisfy
Addressing some of
those.
the things like, you know,
Like
like
the
we talked
green
about
space,
access
yeah.
and green space and all that, how that all fits together. This is still pretty
see if we can, yeah, see if we
general
can go
concept
together.
kind of thing.
Yeah.
It would be
All right.
nice if we had a master plan though.
I
do
agree
understand.
with you
So that's-
100%.
In a few years, we're gonna have to replace the ice rink.
That's fine.
Yeah,
Yep.
but,
That's-
okay,
So
so,
if we had a master plan, and if we were gonna group
Exactly.
everything together,
Yeah, that's not gonna happen.
okay, do you want, does somebody want to make a recommendation to administration to move forward towards a master plan, recreation master plan, or is that
That's
something
one of
that
your
is
items in
already?
your strategic plan.
Strategic plan?
Yeah,
That's
it
in your
is.
strategic plan.
So it is already there, which is
We
good.
just need to focus on it, then work on it.
Yeah.
It probably has a date in there of 2017, I'm guessing?
Do we need a recommendation
It's a
that
frustrating point for
Councilor
me
Barnes
inside
takes
that
it back to the rec board?
It's getting worked on.
I just will.
Yeah.
We just agree to the.
No, I'm fine with that, as it is.
Put this
Okay,
in there as exhibit B. you know.
All right. Council, let's focus on 7B for a second. Recommendation from Policy Review Committee. Okay, Councillor, who wants to speak? You
Go ahead.
decide.
You go for it.
I can, you know, we Councillor Edmonds and I met with Jeff. There's a number of policies. What you see in this request here
It's 7B.
is not all of the policies that, you know, that we've looked at. This is the ones that we discussed more specifically. And we didn't come up with total amendments on all of them. Some were really simple, like, for instance, there's one on faxing costs, and faxing is kind of, you know, passé now because, you know, we do email, so that one is almost redundant. There was a refund policy, R5, which is almost kind of a no-brainer. You know, they had a policy on it, and you really don't even need a policy on it. Some of the things like the Agrodome is going to take, you know, some work to come up with a policy. I'm just hitting here and there, our council letter to citizens policy, it was a good policy, but it's, it was maybe a little too ambitious, and maybe we need to reconsider that, and maybe it could be included in the communications policy. So basically, we've put these policies that we've identified. If I guess basically a motion in principle to take these policies, get them amended or dropped, and then we'll probably be having some more policies that we will want to look at as well. But so this is kind of what was discussed in our first meeting. We will be meeting again as a policy committee, but if council, and if you want to look at the specific policies, and what they are now, or have any questions about, any of these specific ones, why we pick these out, be happy to answer that.
Thank you so much for this work, Councillor.
So, just to clarify here then, we're not making any policy changes, we're just asking for
In principle.
Okay.
in principle to look at this. On that basis, I'm prepared to make a motion to proceed with these recommendations and let the policy committee continue their work.
Okay, I think
Start
what you
reviewing.
need a motion to direct administration to review the targeted policies.
Okay?
That's what the motion.
That's what he said, wasn't it?
Thank you. I'll move that we direct administration to review these policies and proceed with recommendations on them.
With new drafts or whatever needs to be.
Yep,
Okay.
whatever recommendations need to be made.
Okay, all in favor? Thank you very much, and I want to commend you, Councillor Creed and Councillor Edmonds. That takes a lot of reading.
There's a lot of work there.
Thank you.
Should we get another intern or something?
Really?
Yeah, it's time for another intern.
And,
Pretty quick,
thank
eh?
you, Jeff, and Jeff had done a lot of work, homework to identify all the ones that he felt were in need of changes. Let's go to 7D at this point, NMAX Energy Corporation amending agreement. This is regarding the regulated rate, Jeff, if you want to give us a little bit of information.
So we have an agreement with NMAX to provide our regulated rate option. In short, that is if you do not pick a retailer, you are assigned one. That's the regulated rate option. You are considered the board of directors of the electrical utility, and so that's why a motion is required for this. You do not get to regulate the price of energy that the regulated rate option provides. It's based on the market price. That's regulated by the province. But we negotiate the daily admin fee. Now, NMAX and Kevin Phillips have sent us this and recommend we pass it. The admin fee has not changed now for, I want to say, 4 years. So it stayed consistent. NMAX was fine to extend it another year, and so a motion's required for me to enter into that agreement with them.
Okay, all right, so here what we need a very simple motion is to approve the agreement.
I'll make that motion.
Councillor Bengry?
Yep. So move.
To approve the agreement, the NMAX Energy Corporation
I'm
amending.
trying to find it here, yeah.
Okay, under 7D,
Yeah.
okay? So did you get it, Shem?
Approve the Edmonds Energy Corporation amending agreement.
Perfect. All in favor? Thank you.
Thank you.
All right. Do you want to take a break at this time, or would you like us to finish?
Food's there,
that
I'm ready to
section?
eat.
How long is it going to take us to do the last 3 items?
Well, we have
As long as you wish, Councillor.
Well, let's do the last 3 on the
Okay, all right.
on the 7.
Let's go with 7E, the Rotary proposal. So here, as you could see, there were really 2 different type of proposals that were there. One, there was a conceptual idea of future recreation, really David Johnson's view of recreation. with an idea for the town to maybe partner with the Rotary, if the Rotary would consider some of those items. And the other one, more immediate, which was the pathway, the rock pathway. And here is a figure that you have. I do not know how exact those figures are. The town would have to review this. So I really think that requires a motion to direct administration to cost the project with Rotary, to explore all the elements of it, and to bring a funding model for the 2017 capital. Because at this point, the budget is set. There is no money.
Are they thinking about that for this year?
No. Their dates on it are all 2017.
No.
Okay.
They understand that we
Gotcha.
cannot
Okay.
do it this
Yeah.
year.
So what my understanding is this is what they want more immediately is
They need two things.
something on expansion of the trail system. And
That's what we're talking
That's what
about.
this is.
the walking trails, if you look back at our strategic planning, have been, one of the council priorities for a number of years. So I would, if they're looking for, grant support, my motion would be to provide a letter of support for their grant
That's
application.
specifically what he was asking.
And that's, so I would make a motion that we provide a letter of support for their grant application so that they can move forward on exploring the continuation of the trail system, of our walking trails.
The expansion of.
Expansion of the walking trails.
Yeah, I'm really interested in a couple of the proposals we saw today about the walking trails and where they might be, the proposed network of walking trails down there. And I'm a little, I was a little confused by, Gordon's position on maybe we'll do a walking trail, because I understood it was a condition of his subdevelopment, and now all of a sudden, I wasn't sure what he meant by what he said.
I think he was talking about two different areas.
Right.
Yeah,
Yeah.
Jeff
Started
is trying to
talking
talk
Green
about
too.
the county area.
So to a couple comments, we've had money set aside when Mr. Atkins is ready to proceed with his trail along the creek that we'll be jointly participating to extend that. And you're right, that was a condition of the development. Early on, he proposed crossing the creek and heading up southeast through the coulee. I'm not sure he's totally set on that still. He proposed that early on when he was kind of looking at the whole development. And David would like to see that go ahead, and I think it's a really neat idea. I'd like to see that too eventually. So I think that's the piece he's not set on. I don't have any concern about us accomplishing the trail around the creek system. We've got easements over all the properties and all that stuff's already in place. So I think it's just locations.
And so
Jeff?
I would propose that this motion might include that administration kind of help firm this up, I guess, as we're moving forward.
We might need two motions.
Yeah, go ahead and support the grant. I think the original one of directing administration to design the trail system and cost the trail system is appropriate on its own, and then we'll go down that.
So
that
that was the first motion that should be
A letter.
maybe, okay, let's start with that.
Yes.
Let's start with your letter, and then we will have somebody give us
Okay,
a...
I think it's on the table, yeah.
Yeah, so my motion was that we
Right.
provide a letter of support for the Rotary Club's grant application for expanding the trail system.
Towards 2017.
For 2017.
Well,
Well, the grant-
my hesitation with that would be, their grant isn't necessarily for 2017, they're applying
Well,
for it right now.
for whatever grant they're applying for.
I think
Do
that-
the expansion in 2017.
No.
I don't think we even need to put that into it. I
So
think we
maybe
just
you just want a
supporting
short
the
one.
expansion.
Maybe you want a
Just
short
a letter of
short
support.
motion.
Yeah, there's a letter of support, keep it
Okay.
simple.
All right.
Get the money now, we can do it.
For the grant
Fine.
Just a
application.
letter of support.
Letter of support from the town for the grant application, that's a
Okay.
motion. All in favor?
Yeah.
Thank you. All right, so now the second motion needs to be a little bit
Yeah,
different.
I'll propose a motion that council direct administration to draft the trail system down there, and we'll get that firmed up.
Bring
And
foundation.
whether we call it the Chautauqua Trail or not is
With
somebody else's business.
Mr.
And bring a
So the
funding.
design and cost.
But yeah, it's to design and cost the trail system for that area.
Okay, so that will work. All in favor? Thank you. All right, so this is done.
Get that, Chef?
All right, 7F is going to be a little bit more sensitive. This, as you can see by the top of the letter, was received today, April the 26th. I put it on the agenda as an addition because I felt it's time sensitive. So we need to kind of look at it and see what we're going to do. It reads, as Moses Lake Committee are requesting the help of the town of Cardston to come help and support the community cleanup. As you know, the community cleanup is already set for May the 7th, so that would be...
Is that this one is set? Because he doesn't give a date on here. That's
There's no
all I
date on
was
here.
the question. I
This
had.
might be a
date
different one.
is May 7th.
He called me.
So that is, although it's not indicated or no, the time is indicated, is May 7th.
It's next week.
It doesn't give.
All right, that doesn't give people much time to do anything.
Well, if I may,
So-
I think it's been announced throughout the wards and states considerably.
They do the highway.
Never brought up the highway.
And
Yeah.
the highway
The highway
cleanup.
cleanup, yes, this is separate.
This
Because I think
this
it's the
is a
same date though,
community.
isn't it?
Is it? I don't think so.
I think
If
the
it's the
one
same date,
announced
it's
in
not gonna
church
work.
was the
Basically, the
7th.
highway cleanup,
The highway cleanup and this won't work
It's-
together.
No,
No.
probably not.
All right, so essentially what we need to decide is, first of all, is the town council willing to assist Moses Lake with logistic, meaning trucks,
We-
meaning volunteers that might go with the truck, which being public works.
They're not volunteers at that point.
And at point, they are under the banner volunteers for this work, but to us, they are double paid. Another thing is, can we have Volker Steven pick up more garbage if the Moses Lake were to put them along the highway? Would that be something they're willing to do? We need to contact them to find out. That would be another option.
Doesn't give that much time for the planning.
Another possibility, could Darcy, for a limited amount of money, I don't know, small sum of money,
Have you seen?
pick up some of the garbage? I do not know, it's just an idea, I'm exploring here. And could we put that on our website for people to know and to agree on their own free will and choice to go and help as they did in the past? We know that at this point, the church is no longer organizing volunteers to do that project. So it is a little bit more, the volunteers come as citizens of the town and could call the phone numbers that are there to get themselves organized. That is some ideas. We're not really there to dispute the fact that they need help, but what can we do?
Okay, history says, Jeff, what have we done for town equipment?
Well, that's changed in the last couple of years. So up until, has it been 2 years ago? It was the churches, the stakes frankly, were coordinating a large-scale community cleanup. But there was a distinct move away from that where it's only the highway cleanup, and they were not coordinating volunteers to go into the community of Moses Lake. So when that happened, we hadn't been sending equipment. We would have various equipment over the years. We usually had a number of pickup trucks because we'd have staff that would go work and they'd take pickup trucks. We usually have a tandem and a loader and a few things like that. But the scope of that project has changed a lot over the last few years. And, you know, I understand why the project's important, but when Arnold's phoned me, they don't even have confirmation that Blood Tribe Public Works is coming to help. And so I'm worried they're going to be looking to us to be all of the manpower and all of the machinery.
It's not our
And-
responsibility. No.
This is next weekend. I haven't talked to any of my guys about working that Saturday. I don't know if they have plans. This came in this afternoon right before council meeting. And so in years past, we've had a few guys that have said, hey, I'll go volunteer out for the day and I'll take equipment. And we've had our heavy equipment usually out even in the morning where they've done a lot of the big stuff and then gone home because they were just volunteering. But we've been a big chunk of the manpower and machine power with that cleanup in the past. And again, not the last couple of years, because intentionally we haven't gone out into the community there to clean, so we've just stuck on the highways.
And I know that Fred Lacey from the county used to be there.
Yeah, he had equipment and his Bobcat and trucks, you bet.
Yeah.
That's not happening now either.
But I don't know.
Well, I don't think-
Well, it hasn't happened the last couple of years.
Yeah.
It was all done as part of the state.
Yeah.
I don't think we've had sufficient amount of time to organize anything for them.
Well, I think we still can post it on the website
Oh, yeah.
and to allow citizens of the town to contact Arnold or Sharon
Yeah.
and to be able to,
I would like to see us, put together a statement here and say, great on Moses Lake Committee, we're supportive of this in concept, and we're happy to put it up on our website, to advertise it to the community through those, at this short of a notice, I don't think it's fair to our employees to be
That's right.
requiring them to show up with equipment and stuff to be doing
You
the
need a
work.
month lead time or more.
It needs to be a little more actively, yeah.
The other problem we have is it always snows on May the 7th.
Almost
The past 2 years,
the last 2 or 3
the past 2 years,
snow.
it has snowed on the first Saturday of May.
Watch.
All right.
I have a wedding reception that day, so I definitely will be there.
I just want to share some related information because I think it's pertinent, because our Communities in Bloom committee, we usually talk about a community cleanup. And in the past, Rick Williams has tried to coordinate with us and say this is the cleanup, and so we have tried to, do a town cleanup the same day. And we've had very hard time getting volunteers. Last year, maybe we had 5 or 6. So in our Communities in Bloom committee on Monday, we said, let's not compete with the state highway cleanup because, can't get any volunteers. So we made a motion to sponsor a cleanup on June the 4th, which is the first Saturday in June, and invite people basically to do the area around Main Street and the core of the town, and to make that a town cleanup day. And so I just thought that might be pertinent to think about as we think about this. That we did want to move it, a month ahead, just so that we don't have that competition because everybody's involved in the state highway cleanup. So
Talking about this then, maybe related to what Councillor Creed is saying, when is the time that we have allocated for the cleanup, the spring cleanup in that town?
That's May.
It's the first week of
First
May.
week of May.
Next week.
So it will be, that is when people can put all their refuse outside the door.
They're supposed to register with the town.
So they're supposed to register.
And that-
Okay.
And that's,
All right.
that's
So
the residential area.
We need
so.
still a proper direction for administration. So somebody needs to move a motion as to how to direct administration regarding this request.
Well, I think we should ask administration to push them to see if we can do it at a different time, so we have more time to set it up. Because we could be in conflict with the other one. and there's only X number of people to go around.
I was gonna say, there's just not gonna be people available, because they're already gonna be tied up with the highway.
Well,
Yeah.
the reason I want to do it at the same time is because this year only the highway is going to happen, right? If they don't clean the fields that are next to the highway, a week later we'll have the highway full of bags one
Come
more
on, the
time.
wind doesn't blow.
So in other words, if those two projects are not coordinated, it's going to be as if we had done
And it's
nothing.
not even coordinated now, at this late a time.
But I don't have a problem with
But on the
recommending that we, put it on the website, encourage people to go, try to market that on Facebook, et cetera.
We don't have no time frame. We don't really know from what time to what time. We don't know who is really in charge, who has the bag, the gloves, we have no idea.
So maybe a motion to direct administration to give support through our social media, to gather those details to put up there with that, but that's kind of the limit of what, really, this short of notice, what we can do.
What I really need is trucks.
Well, attract
But-
a larger public works department than we do.
And so what I need is really try to get that there. Okay.
You got a few
then-
days to talk to Public Works to see if they can pull it off.
Well, it's,
It's not gonna happen.
But I don't know.
I don't think it's fair to even take this to our public works.
the problem is, all the work is already scheduled 2 weeks ahead of time.
Mm-hmm.
So all the workers already know where they're going to be for the next 2 weeks. Am I correct, Jeff?
Well, the work is planned. At the end of the day, if I went and said, look, we need a couple of guys, there'd probably be a couple of guys. I guess the question you need to ask is, do you want us, if I can get a couple of volunteers, do we want to support that in fuel and time and everything like that?
Well,
And my feeling is if we go, I don't know that we'll see Blood Tribe Public Works there, to be frank. I just don't know. In the years past, we haven't seen them.
I think, again, we just need to support it on our social media and so forth, and encourage.
Yeah, there's also, sorry,
Go ahead.
well, I was just going to say, there's also the possibility of, again, optics, but let's say they do get some of their, and then we don't show up. So, you know, and granted, we don't show up for very good reasons, short notice being the main one. Yeah, I mean, if we're going to be marketing it on the Facebook and everywhere, and we are potentially going to be able to send a guy or two, personally, I don't have a problem sending, approving whatever little budget items there would be for gas gloves and whatever would be needed. If there were guys willing to go, I would support that.
okay. So am I hearing from you, Councillor Peavoy, that you would want administration to contact Public Works and see if there is potential support there?
And if there
For
is,
this
in the motion, would be to support the expenses to help support this cleanup.
Up to amount of what?
Well,
Up to
we don't know.
whatever we've spent in the past.
We
yes.
can't even put a figure at this
That's
point.
right.
I'll make a motion that we extend half an hour.
All in favor? All right, let's carry on with the business. Okay, we still don't have a clear direction.
Well, so I will move to direct administration to write correspondence to the Moses Lake Committee and let them know some of our concerns and hesitation, especially with the short notice, but to offer our support if they decide to move forward with this date, if they can't be talked into a different date, and then to strive to maybe get some volunteers, in addition to marketing it on the website and that sort of, find some volunteers and send them with trucks, make some trucks available, and whatever other expenses that would include, fuel, gloves, etc.
Garbage bags.
Garbage bags.
So,
Questions?
Well, I was going to make a friendly amendment, but maybe it was included in your motion. I just wanted to understand that we want administration to kind of really get more information too, right?
Sure,
That's
yeah,
part of it.
absolutely.
And I just,
Absolutely.
open up a dialogue and say, what are you actually doing, when and how and why,
And what are they supplying?
so, and what are they,
What are they supplying?
Well, and certainly implied in there that we approve the cleanup in principle,
Yeah.
and,
sure.
we're willing to announce it and encourage people to attend, to participate.
Yeah, we need to also help them understand that a lot of volunteers
Are going to be on the
are
highway.
already going to be on the highway.
Yeah. Yeah.
Okay, so, when you say trucks and all that stuff, are you looking at one truck, two trucks? What are you looking at?
I would say.
Because it all depends of the workers.
Yeah, exactly. Not to exceed what we've done in the past.
Well, maybe okay, anyways,
That level.
Safe remark.
all right. So we have a motion on the table. I'm not so sure how Seamus managed to write that
Why
motion.
don't you ask them to read it to us?
Please.
Yeah, maybe
Yeah,
you
try
could,
that.
It may get massaged a bit tomorrow, too.
Yeah.
Yeah, I just want to have a general idea of what we're voting on.
yeah, try to give us a chance to understand what it is that's going on here.
Okay, moved by Councillor Peavoy to contact Moses Lake concerning, our concerns and our hesitation on such short notice. Discuss potential of offering a different date, but we will still get volunteers, market on our social media, and then move on to make some trucks available, cover some costs for fuel, garbage bags, not to exceed what we've done in the past.
Do you still want to have them move it to another date, considering that we're going to have the same sad look after a week of wind?
I don't think it'll be that, amount to that much. I mean, with highway cleanup, with our ward in the past, we actually go out into the fields and do some pickup, not just along the highway, but actually even across the fence.
All right.
Anyway, so.
Okay, all right, so we have a motion, and any further questions? My only concern with it all is that the reason the church divested themselves from that project is because I felt that Moses Lake had been supported for many years with the intent to see them look after their own community cleanup. So that is a little bit of something we need to be aware of, that the idea is not for us to do it.
If I had confidence that this was us coming in to help, I would be really, really supportive of this. It feels like it's us going in to do it.
And we need to make
I have a
clear,
hesitation.
we need to make clear that we are assisting, we're not doing.
Well, and I would take that as a friendly amendment to my motion, that if according to, Jeff's discernment, if it's looking like we're the bulk of, what they have, then just to pull that, and not be that. We're there as a supportive role and to make that very clear in our response back to them.
I'm very supportive of.
Because I think we have to be careful what we're trying to portray. Okay, all in favor? Thank you.
Not doing it.
Didn't exactly do that quite right.
I didn't see all hands up.
That's
Opposed?
preferred.
I didn't see any opposition. Okay, thank you. Now, the last point was yours on the 7G.
I'll try and make this quick.
Please.
Proposal, Councillor.
Okay, yes, would you pass them around?
Getting inundated with papers.
I wouldn't have said let's do the last three.
Okay, so my daughter Liz Woodruff came down in March to discuss having an event here. It's a mud run, 5K mud run. The week before, the long weekend before Heritage Day celebration. possibly call it the Cardston Creek Crawl. This would be a tourism-based project by a private business with a fundraising component for a local charity or an organization in Cardston. As you see in front of you, it says when, what, and I told you what it's going to be. They're doing these all over northern Alberta, there are lots of them, and a couple of the people on the Parks and Rec Board have gone to them and they love them. They're going to, there's one in Kalispell that's held every year, and some of them are going down to that. But what my daughter wanted to do, she wanted to bring this to Cardston so that this could possibly be a yearly event to bring in people to this community. She's talking, how many people? Pessimistically, she said around 200. Realistically, probably between 400 and 500, and optimistically close to 2,500. She's been to them that have had the 2,500 people and the 500 people, and they're very, very popular. The target group is mainly ages 14 to 45, however, it's for levels 14 and up. So it's meant to be fun and challenging. To bring in tourism, bring more people to Cardston. So far, people from Calgary, these types of events are not typically available for people to participate in without having to drive at least 2 hours or more. So people drive long distances to go to these. As I said, there are people going down to Kalispell to them this year. So the budget, my daughter is planning 3 budgets, one that will accommodate a pessimistic attendance and a realistic and an optimistic one. She will call on volunteers, and volunteers can earn a free entry into the race. And there are going to be other perks as well. So she will handle all the registration through the website. She would like to be able to use the town website to advertise this. Sponsorship, she's going out for some good sponsors. She's already got one on board, Burst Energy. They have indicated that they would like to get a foothold down into, get at least a start in their business into southern Alberta. They aren't here right now, but they're talking about it. So there's other corporate sponsorships that she's going to be approaching, and she's having a very positive response so far with this. On here it gives the route that they're going to go. She's been discussing with Gordon Atkins and getting his permission to use part of his property on this. He wants to be able to use part of the nature trail as well. So there'll be 15 plus obstacles, and there are samples on, there's some pages here, on this page here, it's got samples of some of the objects that they will go over.
Who supplies those to us?
This will be part of the registration fees. She's not asking the town for money, she's asking the town for the use of some of the facilities, the trails. She's talked with the West Wind School Division, and they seem favorable towards it already. She's talked with Mr. Sommerfeld particularly, and he wanted some more details, but he likes the idea. He thinks it would be really something good. So, question?
Yeah, there was a question you didn't quite answer. The question is, where do they get the equipment from?
She has, in her budget, she will have the equipment made. And some of the sponsors will pay to have them made. And they'll have their name on that particular obstacle.
Now, Councillor Morris, she has contacted the West Wind for the use of the football field.
The football field and the playground and, yeah, all the track.
And they're in
They are favorable towards it. They want to have a detailed thing before they give their full approval, right? And I'm saying the same thing. I'm asking for an approval in principle until there's more details. She's going to get more detail for the council. And like I said, there's a lot of different things. She's going to, there'll be a charitable donation given from part of the proceeds from the race. Every year will be the same. It won't be the same person, the same charity. It'll be a different one in need. Then there'll be a post-race barbecue. There's going to be a family area. She's going to have one of those bouncy houses and inflatable obstacle course for younger kids, and there'll be a cost for using those things. It'll be a fun day, a community event. There'll be T-shirts, et cetera, prizes, and that's it. Councillor?
Yeah, let's back up just a little bit, because on your second item, when,
The 5th of August, that'll be that long weekend.
well, yeah, it says long weekend, actually the long weekend is the week before that, just wanted to let you know that the...
2017.
The Monday holiday.
2017.
Oh, this isn't this year?
Yeah, this is until next year.
Oh,
Very preliminary
okay.
right now. This is 2017 because it's the work set.
All right. It's too bad that they couldn't have this on the July 1st party in the park,
Oh, I know.
you know, and they can take over the place.
In the future, it might happen.
Yeah.
You know?
Okay.
So, but anyways, like I said, this is a project that she's working on. It's very successful in other areas. And my daughter and her family and many other people, they've attended these and they just have a great time.
Just get down.
And so what I'm asking for this time is that we, a motion to approve this event in principle, lend our support to it, with more detailed information coming forward so that we can give a more full support to this
Okay,
project.
at this point, because you are presenting that
Yeah,
motion, you will
that-
have to abstain from
Yeah.
voting.
Yeah,
I'll make a motion that we support this project in principle at this time, with further discussion with administration and information to council.
Question?
Yeah, I just wanted to say that I appreciate the proposal. I love when people are willing to think outside the box, and I think what your daughter has done here is fantastic. My only concern with this, I don't have a problem with the town facilities being used, et cetera. I know with something of this nature, there's a slight increase to the liability component.
my daughter will be providing liability
She's
insurance.
going to cover her own insurance, so that's good.
Yeah.
My other hesitation, and again, this goes back to my idea of having kind of a vision and a master plan for the area. You know, having managed the hotel here locally, I know that, you know, our town is just not hurting that week. In fact, all hotels are full without this event. And her participants might be a little put out by the fact that
They're already discussing that situation. They're not concerned about the hotels because there are going to be a lot of people from other areas that will be staying in people's backyards. They're going to reach out to the community.
Right.
And there'll be people staying out of town that will drive in.
Well, and
as well.
so what I'm saying is,
Well aware of that.
I would love to see them in the hotels.
Yeah.
And so I would appreciate if she would consider looking at perhaps a different weekend, one that's
There's
not
not another
normally
week,
so
there's
busy.
not another weekend available. They've looked at it very, very, very carefully.
Okay, well,
And
if
this
that's
is the
the
only
case,
weekend.
like I say, I think in the long run, I think it might be fun for this to coordinate a little bit with our Chautauqua schedule, which I know the Chautauqua Committee is looking at that event expanding. If this is going to be the first of a decade, you know, first of many years, you know, eventually they're going to be overlapping Chautauqua events, which is great. We could even call it the Chautauqua Crawl or something.
Yeah.
And, but again, we just want to be careful
Yeah.
kind of what dates this starts to land on, and make sure that it's not a date that we're already filled to capacity here in our town. So maybe a week prior would be better if she, you know.
That's what she's talking about. That's why it's.
Yeah.
Okay,
So-
there are a few people,
So I share some of your concerns on that. She's listed it specifically, that this is a business, for-profit business that she's running. I think we need to be careful how much we tell them when we want the event to run. If they feel that they're going to be more successful running it on that weekend, then that's when they should run it. It may not be what's best for the rest of our community, and I would agree with you there, actually, that it would be better to be on a different weekend.
They want to avoid the competition with the family fun run that's going to be happening.
I understand that. I get that concept. Then there's probably a whole bunch of other things that they're trying to avoid as well. But from a community perspective, there's more value to our community to bringing people in when we're not already bringing people in.
Yeah.
Actually, just now that I've gone the right year, You're saying Saturday before the holiday, before the long
Yes.
weekend, so actually the Monday would be the 7th,
That's right.
and then our Cardston parade would actually be the 12th.
The next week, yeah.
So actually, in some ways, you are preempting or coming in a little early, so in some way, that looks good to me, because you actually are coming in ahead of the Heritage Week.
And it's a
And,
whole new
so
group
that
of people that they're bringing in.
Probably would.
People that wouldn't have been coming here before.
Okay,
So-
That's why they chose
That
it.
would actually, I
Anything
think,
that brings
answer some of
people to
those
this community
concerns.
we
Yeah.
want.
Yeah.
all right.
We
So
got a motion on the floor.
there is a motion on the floor by Councillor Bengry. Any other
I will not be
discussion?
voting.
No, please.
Well, there's no,
Well,
I-
can you?
I have no
can you-
pecuniary interest,
Yeah.
I let
No,
you
you have
know
no
that right now.
pecuniary
None. I
If
have
you have
none.
no-
I won't be getting paid
If you have
at
no
all.
pecuniary
Liz
interest,
won't get paid either. will she?
But it
Oh, Liz
is a,
Oh,
it
well,
is a
you-
business
okay.
from a family.
Okay.
Yeah, so that's why I'm abstaining
Okay,
from
all right, you
voting.
bet, yeah.
okay.
Just to
Jeff wants to
avoid the
speak.
appearance of a
Well-
situation.
Technically, Councillor Barnes sat at the table and debated the whole thing as a councillor.
Right,
It's
yeah.
kind of pointless he doesn't vote on it. You all know his position. Hypothetically, he would have removed himself from the council table.
That's right, and we need to
Right.
discuss it.
Hypothetically, I agree, there's.
Do you want me to
probably
leave now?
not- No, it's relevant now, the debate's been done.
Yeah.
Normally, you wouldn't debate the same topic as a council that you were
Exactly right.
excusing yourself from voting on, normally.
That's right, you,
But I would also agree there's not a pecuniary interest here, I'm
No.
not assuming one either.
Yeah.
So I don't think it's, in principle.
Still, I would
don't
feel
know if you
it
need
better
to-
not to vote.
Sure.
okay, all right.
Okay?
So, all in favor? Okay, one abstention then. Thank you. All right, maybe,
Is there any
If-
chance you want to go on camera quick while Darcy's
yeah,
here?
exactly,
That's
that's what I
probably-
was thinking. I was thinking, we're going to go in camera, we're going to excuse you,
Our media.
and if you could,
I'll pull the door shut behind me.
well, if
Jim and
you,
Corey gotta follow you, so.
yeah.
It won't be long, it won't be long. So I will move to go in camera for a quick